Hey there, welcome to Testlio. If you have made it this far and you're watching this video, that means you have signed up as a tester and you are patiently awaiting for your project invite. So the purpose of this video is to go over the user interface of the dashboard and pretty much what you'll be getting very familiar with. So then when you do get invited to a paid project, you won't be in there and being very confused. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now you just finished your sign up, and when you do get an invite to a paid project, you will receive an invitation like this. So in this invitation, it talks about what the name of the project is, how long we'd like you to test for, the device we want you to test on, and how long the test cycle is active for. And remember, you can complete these 2 hours at any moment, at any time within this test cycle. So anytime within those 24 hours, you can complete those 2 hours. So yes. And then very important, very important to note is these two buttons. So we're asking you if you'd like to take part of the test cycle. So if it's yes, that means we will be rating you, and if you say yes and you don't show up, it will be negatively reflected upon your tester score. And ultimately, unless you notify us, it will likely mean that you will not be able to be a tester on our platform anymore. If you say no, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We do understand that not everyone is able to test whenever we want, so that's not a problem. All right, so let's say in this example you'll hit yes, and then you'll be sent to the project dashboard. So inside this is the dashboard. So inside this dashboard, let's kind of split it up into 3 sections here. So we got the issue section, we got the description section, and we got the issue section, and then we get the chat section, which also has the activity of what's going on. So let's start here. Let's start with the description section. If you see this right here and it's yellow, that means that the test cycle is active. So that's really important to note. That means that, so when you get invited to a test cycle, generally it'll be well before the test cycle actually starts. So when this is yellow, again, when this is yellow, that means it's active. And when you're invited to a test cycle, you're usually also invited to work on a specific task that has been created for you. So in this example here, I created a task list called chat system, and I invited myself to test it. So let's go ahead and click into it, and it'll give us additional details here. So in here, you can see kind of just the general information, where it wants me to test, what the username and password is for the staging environment, what it wants me to do, what areas you want me to focus on, and then it'll tell me what I want, what I need to look for. Then after that, I just submit this and call it a day. So that's the description section. All right. So next, let's actually quickly jump into mind map, because it'll help talk about the next sections right here. So this mind map isn't built out yet, but from here we can build different features like sign up. And the purpose of this is to give you a complete understanding of what the entire app looks like. So each node will be very general, and also as a tester, don't worry about the mind map. When it's built out, it can look very intimidating, but ultimately it won't be something that you will be mainly messing with for the most part. It's just used for an example for whenever you submit issues. So let's go ahead and go back. Now, let's talk about the issue. So here are all the historical issues that have been submitted. So if you click inside it, you can see kind of the details in there. Generally, they'll have so this is an example board, but generally it'll have steps to reproduce. It'll say what they tested on, what the expected result is, what the actual result is. And then from there, once you submit it, the test lead will look over it, give comments, approve or close it, and then also decide whether the severity that you submitted as is correct. So something you should notice here, this is very important, is the format of the title. So right here, you can see that it says intermediate, but really that should be a maybe sign up or chat system, or it should just be the feature name. And then after that, you would give you a quick title to say what it does. So that's really important. That's very, very important. Now, one of the things that we do rate you on is your ability to give a clear and concise bug report. So essentially, if you think a 4-year-old can reproduce the bug, then with your information, then it is a good bug report. So that's very important to know. So again, give us your environment, give us how to reproduce the bug, in very clear and concise steps. It also, at the same time, don't put like 20 steps. A good amount is something around 6 or so. And then the expected result, and then what the actual result was. So this is, so you can kind of get a good idea of what a good bug report is. So very important to note the format of this. Great. So how do you add a new issue? Well, there's a big blue button right here. We'll go into it. So as you type, right here, you will see other bugs that have been submitted in this area. So this is really important because this is a great way to find out if duplicates have already been submitted or not. So we don't want you to submit duplicates. So if you're not sure, kind of type in some common words that could explain it, and this should pop up. And if you see your bug report, if you see your bug here that's already been reported, do not submit your bug. It means it's a duplicate. Great. So up here you would submit your title. In here you could have your, you would write your environment, you would write your steps to reproduce, your expected result, your actual result, and pretty much exactly like the format we saw earlier. So right here, this is really important. So right here, you would submit exactly how critical the bug was. If it was a low severity, it probably means it's like it won't really affect the user experience that much, but it is something that seems a little bit not right. Medium means that it doesn't affect the core functionality of the product, but it does. It should be something that should be looked at, if you want to think about it like that. High is something that is, these are the ones we look for. These are the ones that we really care about a lot. These are the ones that, that will crash an app, or, that will turn a user away completely when they're just trying to use the app. And these must be fixed. If you think, wow, this needs to be fixed today, that means it's a high priority app. And then from there, you would add your labels on there, and choose a device that you tested on and submit the new issue. So then after that, then you would see yours up here. The last thing I really want to go into really quick is the chat. So if you have any questions regarding the platform or the test cycle, I would recommend asking in the chat. There's usually a test lead or other testers or QA managers involved that will answer your questions. So if you have questions, ask it in there. And also, if you want to see just kind of the activity that's going on, you can see it in here as well. Also, some of you may also notice that there's this thing here. This will appear, right now you may not have this, but this will appear once you've been invited to to participate in a task list. So as I mentioned earlier, I invited myself to work on the chat system, and as you can see here, I've been invited to the chat system. And then once you can, so this is kind of how you get started, right? So I kind of tell you some information, choose my device, iPad, begin. Then from there, as you can see, has my information, and I can start, and I can stop. Maybe I have to go do something, that's okay. And then once I'm done with all my bug submissions, I'll just write down what I tested, kind of how I did it, and after that, I'll submit. After that, your test cycle is over. Thank you.